I would like you to imagine something. Have you ever smelled a fragrance and suddenly you have been taken back to a special moment in your life? Maybe you remember someone you love, your childhood, or maybe a place you have never forgotten. That is the power of a fragrance. So, what if selling fragrance was never really about perfume? What if what we are really creating are memories? That simple idea changed the way I do my business. Good morning, everyone. My name is Virajunan. I'm Gold Director and I'm from Indonesia. It is truly an honor for me to be here and share my stories with all of you. I'm not a perfumer. I'm simply someone who learned that people rarely remember what we sell, but they remember how we made them feel. Today, I don't want to talk about perfume only. I want to share how we can create fragrance experience that people remember. Because memorable experiences build stronger relationship. Stronger relationship build loyal customer and loyal customers help our business grow. So, many people ask me, Fira, do you sell more offline or online? My answer is both. Because offline creates the experiences and online keeps the relationship alive. I want to show you two different pictures. The first picture is me standing behind my booth. Yes, I love open booth everywhere, in event, in supermarket, and I do it frequently. I believe offline is very important. Offline is where people first discover me. It's where they experience the fragrance for the first time with their own senses. It's where they begin to connect with the products and also with me. The second picture is me making content for my Instagram. Online is also important. Online allows the experience to continue. It keeps the conversation going long even after the meeting or the event is over. Instead of becoming a one time meeting, it becomes an ongoing relationship. So when offline experience and online relationship work together, something powerful happens. People don't just remember us, they remember the fragrance. So why is fragrance? Why is fragrance so powerful? Because one fragrance for me can create many different stories. Every person you see here has a different favorite fragrance. Not because they all smell the same thing, but because each fragrance means something different to them. That is why fragrance is such a powerful business. The first reason is emotional. Unlike skincare, perfume creates an emotional impact instantly. With skincare, people need days, weeks, or even months to see the visible result. But with fragrance, the result happens in just 1 second, and suddenly someone smiles or remembers someone they love. Let me share something very personal with you. My mother has passed away several years ago. There is one fragrance note that always reminds me of her, amber. Her favorite fragrance was amber. She wore amber every day when she was alive. So every time I smell amber, it feels as if she is standing right beside me. For just a moment, I can almost feel her presence again. That is the incredible power of a fragrance. It doesn't just bring back a memory, it brings back an emotion. The second reason is personal. I want to tell you a story about my customer. One of my customers completely fell in love with Giordani Gold Essenza perfume. She wears it almost every single day. Over time, that fragrance became her signature scent. Now, whenever people notice that beautiful scent in the room, they immediately know, oh, she's here. They don't even need to see her face. The fragrance tells them who has just walked by. That is something skincare or makeup cannot do. People don't buy perfume or fragrance because the ingredients. They buy the confidence. They buy the identity. They buy the feeling a fragrance creates. And the third, fragrance create repeat purchases. When customers truly in love with a fragrance, they don't buy it only once. They will come back because they want to wear the signature scent every day. Many of my repeat customers started with just one bottle, and today, they have several favorite fragrances for different occasions. And the last one, finally, fragrance is naturally easy to recommend. People receive compliments. You smell amazing. What perfume are you wearing? That simple questions often becomes the beginning of a new customer. Everything I have shared so far can be simplified into three simple steps: spray, share, and sell. Every fragrance sale in my business follow these three steps. The first step is spray because no one falls in love with a fragrance they have never experienced. So I let people smell it. I let them compare the fragrance. I ask them what memories or feelings each scent brings. I never rush to sell. I focus on creating an unforgettable fragrance experience first. The second step is share. The experience shouldn't end when people leave my booth. That is my rule. So that is why before they leave, I always ask their Instagram, their Facebook, or even their WhatsApp number. From that moment, social media becomes an extension of my booth. I create reels. I share fragrance tips. I post customer stories. Every piece of content reminds them of the fragrance experience we share. Because people may forget what I said, but they won't forget seeing me consistently. Only then comes to the third step, or the final step, sell. By this point, I'm no longer talking to a stranger. I'm talking to someone who already knows me and trusts me. Then the sale becomes natural. I'm not convincing people to buy. I'm simply helping them make a decision they have already comfortable with. The first step of my framework is spray. But for me, spray means much more than spraying perfume onto someone's wrist. It means bring fragrance to people. Because if people never experience a fragrance, they can never fall in love with. That is why I don't wait for customers to come to me. I go where people already are. For example, I open booth at a car free day event. It's a weekly event. Thousands of people are already there. So instead of waiting for customer to find fragrance, I bring fragrance to them. I also open fragrance booths at supermarket. People come to shop their daily needs and unexpectedly discover a fragrance they love in my booth. The third one is beauty class. Even when I organize a beauty class, I never miss the opportunity to introduce fragrance. I display a selection of perfumes so the participants can try them throughout the event. Because the more people experience a fragrance, the greater the chance they will find one they truly love. One thing I have learned over the years is this: people don't buy perfume, they buy the feeling it creates. When I spray a fragrance on someone's wrist, I'm not asking them if they like the scent. I'm inviting them to experience it. First, they try it. They smell it for the first time. They become curious. Then, they feel it. The fragrance starts to develop on their skin. Sometimes it reminds them of someone they love. Sometimes it makes them feel more confident. Or sometimes they simply smile and say, "Wow, I love this scent." And only after that, they make a decision. Not because I pressured them, but because they experience the fragrance for themselves. One lesson completely changed the way I talk about fragrance. Don't describe the notes, describes the experience. For example, most customers don't know what amber smells like, or marine accord, or dulce de leche, but everyone understands a feeling. Instead of saying this perfume has dulce de leche notes, I would say it smells sweet, like freshly baked caramel cookies that almost make you crave dessert. Now this customer isn't imagining an ingredient, they imagining an experience. Or instead of saying it contains amber, vanilla, and woody notes, I will say imagine wrapping yourself in a luxurious cashmere scarf on a cool evening, warm, elegant, and sensual. People don't remember the ingredients, but they remember how you make them feel. As a fragrance consultant, we are not just introducing perfume. We are helping people imagine how they will feel when they wear that perfume. And that is what turns curiosity into desire. Now let's move to the second step is share. Many people create content after the event is over. I do it when the experience is happening because the most authentic content is created in real moments. The first thing I capture is their first reaction, the smile, the surprise, or the moment they close their eyes after smelling a fragrance. Those genuine reactions are more powerful than any sales message. Before and after. Next, I capture a simple before and after moment. Just a few seconds before they try the fragrance and a few seconds after. Sometimes you can literally see the difference in their expression. As on camera, if they are comfortable, I ask one simple question on camera. Can I record a quick 10-second review? I always ask permission for this. because asking permission doesn't just show respect, it also builds trust. And the last one is product photo. Before I pack everything up, I always take one clean product photo. That single photo can be used later for Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or future content. One even doesn't create just one sale. One even create dozens of content opportunities. And every piece of content keep the fragrance experience alive long after the event is over. Now, I would like to share something very practical. When I create content, I usually use one of two simple formulas. Both formulas have one important principle. I never start with the product. I start with people. Formula number one is hook, story, product, and CTA or call to action. The first formula is perfect when I want to tell a story. First, I use a hook, something that makes people stop scrolling. For example, choosing perfume shouldn't be confusing. Then I tell a short story. I ask one simple question. How do you want to feel today? Confident, elegant, romantic? Only after I do that, I introduce the fragrance. For example, if you want to feel elegant, Amber Elixir is one of my favorite recommendations. And finally, I end with a simple call to action. How do you want to feel today? Formula number two starts with the customer's problem. For example, many people are afraid to buy perfume online because they don't know if they will like it or not. Instead of selling immediately, I first show empathy. I completely understand perfume is very personal. Then I recommend the fragrance that matches their needs. And finally, I share a real result. Many of my customers come back for their second bottle. That gives people confidence in my recommendation. So when I create content, I ask myself one simple question. Am I telling a story or am I solving a problem? Because when people connect with the story or see that you understand their problem, the fragrance naturally becomes the solution. The final step of my framework is self. But selling doesn't happen because of one conversation. It happens because of consistent conversations. That is why I follow one simple cycle: inspire, follow up, advise, and repeat order. Inspire. First, I continue to inspire through my content. Every reel, every customer story, every fragrance tip keeps me visible to my customer. Then I follow up, not to pressure them, but to continue the conversation. A simple message like, Hi, you tried Love Potion yesterday. What do you think of it? Sometimes that is all it takes to restart the conversations. Then I give an advice. I don't recommend the most expensive fragrance. I recommend the fragrance that fits their personality and preferences. People appreciate honest recommendation, and it is how trust continue to grow. Then, order. Finally, the order comes naturally because by this point, the customer already knows me and trusts me and feel comfortable buying from me. The last lesson I'd like to share is this. Every relationship has the potential to grow. Not every customer will become a brand partner, and that is perfectly okay. But if we consistently create great experience, build genuine relationship, and continue serving people, some customers will eventually ask, "Can I do what you do?" The first person I want to share is Christine. Christine first met me at one of my supermarket booths. She came as a customer, simply curious to try the fragrance. We stayed connected. She became one of my customers, and later she decided to become a brand partner. Today, she has already reached the 6% level. And this is Stephanie. Stephanie's journey was different. She joined one of my beauty class events. She enjoyed the products, became part of the community, and eventually decided to start her own Oriflame business. Today, she is already the third 3% brand partner. This story reminds me that we are not only selling fragrance, we are building confidence, we are building relationship, and sometimes we are helping someone begin their entrepreneur journey. That is how one conversation can multiply into many more lives. Before we finish, I would like to leave you with one final challenge. Everything I have shared today only works if you put it into action. So before you leave this room, I would like you to create your own spray, share, and sell plan. First, write down one activity you will do this week. It doesn't have to be a big event. It could be a small booth, a beauty class, a product demo, or even a presentation to just a few people. The important thing is to create one new fragrance experience. That is our goal, by the way. The second is decide what content you will capture. Will you record someone's first reaction, a before and after moment, or a short testimonial? Remember, don't let the experience end at the event. And the third is finally write one follow up message you will send 2 days later. Don't wait until you are busy. Prepare it now. Sometimes one thoughtful message is all it takes to reopen the conversation. So write the exact follow-up message you will send 2 days later using the template from this deck. At the beginning of this session, I asked you one question. What if selling fragrance was never really about perfume? Today, I hope I have shown you that it's really about creating unforgettable experiences, building meaningful relationships, and helping people create memories through fragrance. Because people may come for the fragrance, but they stay because of the relationship we build. Thank you very much.